a mouse, cause I'm an albatross. I'm an albatross.
A few of her precious hours later, Lyra found herself creeping down the aisles of the Wormwood, Ponyville's second-hand bookstore. The owner, a middle-aged yellow stallion with specks of grey peppering his auburn mane, nodded at her from over his newspaper as she entered on the heels of Bonbon. After retreating from another not quite successful at the diner, Lyra elected to give Bonbon some space and revise her approach. Distance made her heart grow fonder, or something like that. To the unicorn's surprise and look, Bonbon chose to close early. No longer could she hide behind the excuse of Lyra disturbing her customers. From the moment she turned the sign closed, she was fair game. Besides, old bookstores were romantic, or that's what Lyra's old Canterlot friend Twilight Shine kept on telling her. Either way, it was time for another swing at her sugary sweet crush. Sorry, she whispered to the Earth Pony, disrupted from browsing the shelves by Lyra bumping into her. She glared through the curly crest locks of her mane before muttering under her breath and looking away. Lyra would have to make a note to apologize better to her mare. Berry punch? Later. For now, she focused on her hooves walking further down the other side of the aisles. Glancing at the titles on her side told her that she was somewhere in the self-help section. To her best guess, the other side was cooking and confectionery section. She strained her ears, listening to the voice of the Hooves' owner mumble to herself, reading the titles of books aloud. When the Hooves stopped, so did Lyra. The bookshelves were not solid at the back, which made it more easy to follow by catching a glimpse of her cream-colored coat from between the stacks. So, when Bonbon on the other side of the shelves stopped, Lyra traced the path of her 4 hooves and lifted a small row of books off her shelf. As soon as the book on the other side was pulled away, Lyra smiled. "Fancy seeing you here," Bonbon shrieked, jumping back and dropping the book she pulled off the shelf. A gaggle of giggles sprung from Lyra at the sight. "Lyra?" Bonbon asked, holding a hoof over her chest and staring wide-eyed through the gap in the shelf. The one and only. You shop here too?" Lyra waggled her ears, innocence into her words, as she said, "What a lucky convince." Yeah, I don't know how to say the word, I'm sorry. "Lucky for Lyra, lucky my left hoof," Bonbon whispered, shrieking under the looks, no doubt turning towards her, following her smirk. She inched closer to the shelf, so that Lyra could only see her bright blue eyes through the gap. "You followed me in here, didn't you?" It took a few seconds for Lyra to respond. Lost as she was in the eyes, she shook her head and put on her practiced smile once more. Her cheeks only strained a little from the effort. "Maybe. Or maybe I like to read from time to time, like, lightening her horn." She reached for the first book in the pile she dragged off the shelf. "When somebody tries to block, show them that you rock," by Iron Whirl. "Definitely picking this up. It's a page turner, I can tell. I hope you enjoy it, Bon Bon said, replacing the book on the shelf and moving further down the aisle.
You may call it a crash, I call it a flying. Here's to perform in this deserted island. Jealous cause I leave a pony smiling. You need to chill cause you knowin' who I am. Out here, no cell phone